In this video, we're going to be discussing how good is a 6'8 center on NBA 2K24. Now, there's been a lot of debate. People always tend to ask me every single time, which is the better center build, the 6'8 or the 7-foot build. Now, I will say there are strengths and weaknesses to both builds, but I do believe for me, overall, now, your boy's got to go all the way back. This is like the first season. I had this gameplay that I wanted to show you guys for a while, but I think this is the perfect video to showcase this gameplay and also sort of talk about the build. Now, like I said, there are a lot of differences and strength and weaknesses to having a 6'8 and to having a 7-footer. But for me, for overall gameplay, I do believe the 6'8 is just a much better center build. Even if you go to the Prem, you see a lot of Prem teams. They use they call it the back end. They use the 6'8 as the back end guy because it's a very, very effective build. You can get still on the build. You can put a lot of attributes on your build. Now, is the 7-foot a bad center build? Absolutely not. The 7-foot is also very, very good. Now, there are pros and cons to using both builds. Now, for me personally, as much as I love my 6'8, y'all can see this was the 6'8 I made a while back that didn't have any passing because I wanted to go crazy on my defensive stats, and this was a crazy build. Y'all can see even with the dunk and everything else. So, there are pros and cons to having both, both builds. And for me, the 7-footer, one of the biggest pros of the 7-foot build, running especially the pick and roll, is just the ability to be able to look. I mean, this build is crazy when it comes to the dunks, but it's just the ability to be able to get contact dunks, which obviously this build cannot get. Okay, you can still get very good standing dunk animations, and the way I made this build, you can see this is a 6'8 build, and I still put some offense in it so we can still go a little bit crazy. But here's where the build stands out when it comes to the defense. You can see that, I ain't gonna lie to you, can never do that on a 7-foot build. You see that still animation right there? You're never gonna be able to get that on a 7-foot build. And that for me is the reason why I personally don't really or wouldn't recommend using, especially in like really close game. This was a squad game, if you guys are wondering. This was, so 4v5. We had an AI and everything else. But those still animations, y'all can see, it's just going to deter him from really passing the ball. Y'all can see it wasn't really to pass it because I stole the ball the first time. So those lanes are very, very, very effective. Now, for me, it really depends on what kind of game mode I really want to play. Like, if I want to play competitive, like pro-am type gameplay all day, and we're going to be playing a bunch of sweats every single time, I'm going to for sure be on my 6'8. Y'all can see even the 6'8 can cook up a little bit. The 6'8 can do a little bit of that, even though I do have lack of mobility on this build. Obviously you got the Jimmy Butler, which the 7-footers also don't they don't get, unfortunately. But y'all can see the defense is really, really good. Y'all can see right here when it comes to the pick and roll, you can still slide it in and out when it comes to pause. But when it comes to like gameplay, you're way faster than a 7-foot build, which allows you to cover grounds a lot quicker, which means you can take more risk on defense. You can, play a really, really, risky defense and still be able to get back in time. Now, the one I made right here can still rebound. You can see, so, it's not like, oh yeah, the 7-footers. I do believe overall, and some people are going to argue with me, I do believe overall the 7-foot build overall definitely gets way better animation when it comes to the rebounding as opposed to the 6'8, especially in crowded situations. That's one of the biggest things I've noticed. When the paint is completely crowded, the 7-footers, I don't know, it's like they're just jumping a trampoline or something. They jump really, really high. Now, I'm not saying the 6'8 don't get good animations, but the 7-footers on average tends to get way better animation when it comes to just pure rebounding. The other thing as well is just sort of the attributes you can put on the builds. I mean, the 7-footers, again, the limitation is just to steal, your perimeter defense. What you're able to put on a 7-foot build is nowhere near what you're able to get on the 6'8. Even right here, y'all can see he had the lane to the paint. Y'all can see I gave the center that lane to the paint because I trusted the defense. Y'all can see this build also gets really good standing dunk animations, not good standing contact dunk animation. Those are very, very different. Again, talking about the speed of the build, y'all can see in terms of being able to just be versatile, be on the pick and roll, slide pause, again, just slide down to, to help defense. It's just a complete menace. I mean, the 6'8 is just, in my opinion, is the perfect, center build to make this year. So if you're sort of deciding, what kind of center build do I want to make, I would say it really depends on your game mode. Now, for me, as fun as the 6'8 is, when it comes to REC Randoms, surprisingly, I still prefer playing on my 7-foot builds. I just feel like I have way more fun on my 7-foot builds. I mean, every time I play on the 6'8 build, it feels like I'm just out here trying to sweat the game. And I ain't gonna lie, trying to sweat every game is not as fun as you guys think. Y'all can see even right here, taking our time. The 6'8 is very versatile in its own way. So you can still do a little bit of everything in terms of sort of slashing and everything else. But again, the 7-footers, I'll personally recommend it as more of a help build coming through. I mean, look at this defense right here. So I went onto the guard, which I don't mind doing. You know, you wouldn't want to switch a 7-footer onto a PG, right? You wouldn't want to do that. But this build has like 85 perimeter defense, so I don't mind switching onto the guard if I need to. Switch back onto the center, and then I went on to get the rebound. Okay, so I kind of guarded multiple people on that possession, which ended up leading to a 3. So yeah, I mean, again, it just depends on what I want to be doing. So if you really want to sort of sweat the game, this is going to sort of end the game right here. You can even catch some, standing contact dunks. If you really want to sweat the game, again, it depends on your preference. I do think overall, the 6'8" is just, I think it's a no-brainer. I think the 6'8" is just a better build. Now obviously the 7-foot is also really, really good because a lot of people tend to use them, especially the ones that make this 99, 7-foot builds, 96 strength type of thing. But again, you have to think about some of the attributes you're able to get on the builds. If you think about a 6'8", with the 6'8", you can make like a 6'8" with 80 strength, 90, not 80 strength, but 80 speed, 96 strength, okay? You can still, if you want to go heavy on the 7-footers, you're going to have to reduce a lot of your speed, which you don't want to do, especially when you're playing the pick and roll. You want to be able to, like, just be up and down the court. So, yeah, I mean, for me, how good is the 6'8" center? I think the 6'8" is a very, very good center build. Now, again, there are limitations in terms of being able to finish effectively in the paint. Again, the build I have right there is obviously he's got 85 standing dunks. I have no issues dunking when there's a little bit of traffic there, but when it comes to the 7-foot builds, especially with the 92 standing dunk, you can dunk with loads of people in the paint. So there's definitely pros and cons to it. Y'all let me know what you guys think. I mean, which one are you guys rocking at the moment? Is 6'8" or 7-foot, or even 7'1"? I know some of you guys are doing that. But anyways, hope you guys enjoyed the video, and I'll catch you in the next one.